Welcome back to Microblading, everyone. Today, I've received a lot of your assignments. I'm really pleased because you've submitted your work and have been practicing so diligently. Today, we're going to move on to page 7, everyone. This is a feathered brushstroke pattern, which creates flexibility through short and long strokes, as well as both inward and outward flicks, helping our hand movements become more fluid. You should practice this exercise a lot to help you develop good reflexes when working with clients. Now, have a look at this feather duster, and we will use two needles, the single needle and the multi-needle. First, take the single needle, hold your finger upright at a 90-degree angle, and then gently stroke along each feather of the duster towards yourself. Stroke one feather inwards, then flick the next one outwards. Now, please watch closely. In these lessons, we will practice developing this reflex together. First, still have them hold the pen upright at a 90-degree angle. Then, look here, we use the single needle. Bring it towards yourself, pull it in. Now I'll do it outside so you can see. The stroke needs to be really smooth, especially after you flick it out. Then one stroke in, one stroke out. One stroke in, one stroke out. Try to keep a bit of resistance in your hand movement. Don't flick in or out too forcefully. Let's watch it one more time. See, my hand doesn't stop. When I flick it out, it moves as if it's gliding, gliding, gliding. Now, let's do the opposite side. The opposite side, pull it towards yourself like this. Then flick it out. Alright, now I'll try it out for you to see. Pull it towards yourself like this. There you go. Try to make it look like a fine hair, a little downy hair, see? It's pointed at both ends. Flick it out like this. This is the first stroke. It's very easy, isn't it? Alright, let's start with this exercise. Curve it into a slight C, glide in, glide out, curve a slight C, glide in, glide out. Try to glide out, but make sure it has a tip. It needs to be pointed like this. See, the tip here, that's what makes it smooth. Now, let's go through all these exercises. Next, we'll practice the feather stroke exercise on fake skin using a single needle, everyone. First, you'll draw a spine line for the feather duster, which is similar to the eye stroke we learned. Our method is to draw a stroke like this. We'll always practice both movements to develop a light touch, both sweeping in and flicking out. And try to have both short and long strokes. One stroke pulls in, then I'll have a stroke flicking out. There you go. Try to make sure your hand doesn't stop, doesn't get stuck, and moves along a straight line. This way your hand will stay relaxed. Flick in, sweep out. In. Sweep out. In. In, out. Okay. Can you see that? That's why your hand stays smooth. So now, on the other side, we'll do the same thing. In. For those of you who aren't used to practicing these first exercises, after this one your hand will be much more flexible. So we'll be able to complete this feather duster, right? After you've mastered the whole feather duster and become proficient with the single needle, please switch to the multi-needle, and you'll also have two directions to practice. One is to pull towards yourself, and then flick outwards. You'll practice each strand, one strand pulled in, then the next strand pulled out. Now, please watch closely. So, what about the multi-needle? If you find that the base of the needle is too big for you, you can trim it down a little to make practicing easier. Just like with the single needle, we still insert it and practice rotating the pen a bit. Here, our hand should rotate the pen slightly as we bring it towards ourselves. Watch carefully as I draw outside here. Here, create a C-curve. Then, move outwards like this. Make sure it's smooth. Now, to make the C curve more pronounced, follow the direction of this hair stroke and it will curve more. Then move inwards. Practicing rotating the pencil will make it much smoother. When you get to this point, rotate it gently. Yes, you have to rotate it a bit here so it can taper off at the tip. Alright, keep practicing. Let's try it first. Pull it towards yourself first. There, pull it towards yourself. Try pulling it outwards. Try pulling it inwards. Try pulling it outwards. There you go. Keep practicing a lot and your hand will become more flexible. Once you feel comfortable, then switch to the larger version. This is the larger version. You have to move the entire blade. The whole blade must follow a straight line. Don't let it go off course, otherwise the strand will get smudged. See, the strand needs to be sharp, clear, and precise like that. That's how it should be. Then, flick it outwards. Just keep practicing like that until you finish this exercise. The more you practice, the more flexible your hand will become, and then you'll be able to use a bigger knife, a larger board, and work with more material. That's it. You need to practice so your hands become skilled, and only then will you be able to work quickly. For using multiple needles, we'll draw an extra feather duster underneath. If you're not used to it yet, use the multi-needle tool. It's a bit smaller, meaning the pencil is just thin and fine. After that, gradually switch to a thicker pencil. Alright, you need to practice step by step just like I do, then you'll master it in no time. Okay, so now I'll use a slightly larger multi-needle tool for us to practice with. No one just becomes good out of nowhere, you know. You have to spend time practicing and put in the effort, then your hand will become smooth and steady. See, can you all see that? It creates a feather duster effect, and my hand's reflexes are much better now. Over here on this side, it's a bit more difficult, isn't it? Alright, we need to try to flick it outwards, like this, so that our movement is smooth and flows upwards, not cut off or abrupt. If it gets cut off, the tip won't look nice. That's the secret, you know. Just keep practicing like this and we'll be able to perfect this feather duster, right? Dear friends, the aim of this exercise is to help us develop really good reflexes, making our hands extremely flexible and supple. Later on, when we use the machine, it'll be much easier. Never skip these simple exercises, because they lay the foundation for us to practice future lessons more effectively. Wishing you all success in your studies.